What's going on, YouTube? Well, we got some real good cars to share today. We're going to be talking about Auto World. This is the newest release. This is a 2019 release, probably the last for the year. Release 4, and I got version A. I got all 6. And it's very difficult to get these vehicles now on the pegs, even though, Walmart, Meijer has them in Indiana. Very seldom seen. I did get lucky, and I'll share my luck with you all during the video, but let's take a look at what I did get. And this was a mail call. Mailman brought these to me. It was definitely cheaper per vehicle to get it the whole 6 than it was to try to get the individual ones I wanted, although the whole set is awesome. I like the coloring on all of them, and all the castings, except probably for the Plymouth, although the Plymouth is awesome too, and we'll go over that vehicle too as well. So, we're going to start with number 6, and this is a modified casting. This is an awesome car. I was actually excited to get this. I do not get the olds. I don't have any of these castings. It's been around for a while, and it's really pretty. And this is a F-85, 1966 Olds F-85. F-85 being the base trim line, because it went to a Cutlass and a 442 on this body. The F-85 was originally a unit construction car, a smaller vehicle, and now is a lot bigger in 66. Look at this thing. It's beautiful. It's got the soft top on it. It's got the gold, and it's got the full wheel covers. So it just looks great, and they modified the casting, as you can see there. They got rid of the what do they called it? The vents, the fender vents. So it's a clean casting. It's really pretty. They got some really beautiful wheels. So we're going to take a look at this one first. Ceramic Poly. It's a gold color. The other one, version B, is a red car with the Steelies. And I'll probably try to find that, but I'm probably going to try to get that as a local peg find instead of getting that online. But getting these cars, they averaged about what they cost, about $5 per car if you get the whole set, versus trying to get the square body. Of course, I'm going to collect that. The new square body on this set, they're trying to charge $14 to $20 for that damn thing, and I'm not going to do that. So I'll try to find it locally. But if I have to, I'll get another set. It's just that I just don't like the colors in the B set. And so, I'll have to roll the dice. But I did get the A set, and I'm very pleased with it. So sometimes I'll do that. Green light, I'll do that sometimes as well, just to get it over with and get the whole thing. But on average, I don't collect cars for the set. I don't complete the set. I just try to get the cars I like. But this turned out to be all the cars I was interested in the casting. So here they are, and those are the vehicles. F-150 is a new casting. The 75 Silverado C10, new casting because they changed the grille, because the debut was a 73. And then the Dart and the Mustang and the Barracuda, those have been previously released, but the F-85 a revision. So let's take a look. Beautiful card art. Of course, another thing to note about this new release is they've gotten rid of the boxes, and I guess that's okay. I mean, I like the boxes. They're cool. Some people that collect these cars, they will collect the car, maybe not show them all on the shelf, and they'll store the cars in the boxes. I don't do that. I actually keep the packaging from Auto World. I'm debating whether to store it like my premium Hot Wheels, where I'll take the blister off and just keep the card. So I may do that, but although if I ever have to transport these cars somewhere, it's easy to just leave some of the blister attached, and I just kind of put it in there, and it'll stay kind of secure. So debating that, but we'll go. We'll take a look at the car. Let's look at it. It's beautiful. Auto World really has continually been my favorite to collect in 1/64 scale. I just love the detail, and for the price point. While there is some issues with wobbly wheels and the tampo work on The white walls are sometimes crooked, and we'll look at that in a minute on some of the other castings. This one turned out to be very nice, and it's just a gorgeous car. It's got the matching gold interior. You could see the F-85 taillights, how they have the dashed lines in there, and the Oldsmobile script on the trunk lid. Again, the F-85 is the standard version, and then it went to a Cutlass and a 442 on this platform as well. So very, very cool car. This one has the bucket seat interior with a console. I love the full wheel covers. So we're going to do a little turn here, look at the car, and then I'll do a zoom because the Tampa work is tremendously well done on this vehicle, I think. Solid metal construction. There is no plastic pieces except for the interior tub. So they did a great job. You can see the Olds script on the fender. You can also see the Olds on the hubcap. And these full wheel covers are just really, really good looking. Just tremendous detail. There we go. Look at the grille. It's got the Olds emblem on the grille. F-85 on the license plate. Headlights are done very good. There's a little bit of overspray, but not much. Hood opens. Gold block. Olds gold block. Let's take a look here. See if we can get that to zoom or to focus on that emblem there. It's amazing. You can see the relief on the wheel covers done very nicely. Door lines deep. They're not shallow like on green light. You can see the wipers are done very nicely. They got the white applied to the roof. The vision line there is done very nicely. It's separated with silver. And then they have the tunnel window there with the buttresses. It's just a great car. Huge car too. Dual exhaust, as you can see. And then look at that Oldsmobile. Look at that. Just awesome. Really, really cool stuff. Automatic transmission pan. Oil filters hanging down. Just love it. Just love it. And of course, what's cool about the Auto World is they always have the production date on the chassis. So, relatively recent. But this casting has been around for a minute. Just an awesome car. So, very excited to have this one in the collection. It's my first Oldsmobile casting from Auto World, so I'm glad. It looks very stock. It's not kind of modified, doesn't have custom wheels on it or anything like that, and it'll fit very nicely in my collection. I love gold cars. See the interior there. So, and this one actually rolls pretty good. The tires don't get hung up. Some of the Auto World, when they switch the tires to larger size, they don't necessarily roll all the time nicely in the vehicle, but this one does, and so very excited to have this. Good relief on there. You can see, if you look down the panel lines, you can see how deep everything is. The fender arches, wheel wells, the trim line here, nice and deep. So, beautiful car. Very excited to have this one. All right, next we'll look at the Barracuda. Now, this one is awesome. They've had some pretty funky colors like white, you know, with a blue, a baby blue. They had the red. They had white walls, all that kind of thing. This one's really sweet looking. It almost looks like a Hearst edition. Hertz rental Mustang with the black and gold. And it's got the blue line tires, bias ply. It's just a sweet car. This is number 5, version A, and I think the other one in this series, I can't remember the color. I saw it actually on the pegs. Someone left it there. This is a 1965, and I think they do a 64 as well for Auto World. Formula S, of course, that was an upgrade. That was kind of the hypo version. It's got the Commando V8. And of course you get the upgraded suspension, etc. This is the ebony color. This is a great car. The back of this packaging is the same, so again, I won't really go there. But the front is awesome. The card stock is still the same thickness as the ones with the boxes. So, all right. So for my first Plymouth casting, this one's been around for a long time with Auto World. Let's take a look at it. Of course, when you get these now, they still have a plastic backing, so the card is not shaking around in there like a Hot Wheels or anything like that. So it's still a secure packaging. Let's put that in there. Beautiful card art. Really, really like that. Look at this thing. It's awesome. A great looking car. Gloss black. It's not metallic. It's a straight black. The wheel covers are just done so good on this car. They're deep and they got a lot of relief to them. I really didn't see any errors on this car in terms of any misprints or smudging or any of that stuff. Glass is very clear. It says Plymouth on the back deck. These little Plymouth Barracudas are really sweet. I mean, they had this fastback window and I believe a small little trunk, so it was like this was fixed and he had a little trunk in there. I forget if it was a trunk and then it was separated, I can't remember, and then you had to access this part from the inside of the car. You guys and gals can comment below on that. I just can't remember. Really nice deep casting on the bottom. I just love their chassis. This one actually rolls very nicely, even though the tires are enormous on this car, and they would have probably been a little bit of a smaller profile. But it's beautiful. Really, really beautiful car. Formula S on the license plate there. You could see the badging and the trim along the lower part of the window. I mean, look at that. It's just great. Gold interior. I just love black and gold. It looks amazing. They had that little V8 in there. You can see that little Chrysler motor. The other thing that was amazing on this casting is the front. I mean, the grille is just done just so good, and it's got a lot of depth to it. Look at that. And this car is based on the Valiant, I believe, even though it had this fastback. I mean, this was basically off of an economy car from Chrysler. Trim badge says Barracuda. Look at the Tampa work on the tires. Just tremendous. Just tremendous. All this for $5 car on the pegs. You know, people charge more online, but these are about $5 at Walmart. So, just awesome. Awesome. Look at the taillights. Look how clean they're done. Reverse lights are done. No smudging on the... And it's all a casting. They all have to paint this on. It's all piece of metal, and it's not separate bumpers. It's all molded. And the other thing that surprises me, unlike some of the other cars that are cast, is you rarely see any casting marks on these cars. You might see a faint line occasionally, but for the most part, there's very, very little casting marks. You can see Plymouth is done on the hood. Look at that. Just amazing. So, very, very happy to have this car. Rolls very good. This is another plus. You can see the interior there. Bucket seats, no console car. Get the rear seat right there. I just love it. Great car. I'm very happy to have this one. Very nice color on it too, as I have said. So, Plymouth Barracuda. Look at that bad boy. Awesome. All right, going up the food chain. We're gonna look at number 4 in the series. Actually, I've grown to really love these cars. This is a 67 Mustang. And, of course, very excited to add this just because it is green. And they give you some facts. You know, GT and GTA, 1967, denotes that it's an automatic car. And look how many Mustangs are made in 1967. A lot. So, still a great car to get into if you like classic cars. And the real, you can get bodies running and driving. They're not going to break the bank. So, they're great cars to play with as a classic. This one, they put on the big tires, and they have the full wheel covers. So, this would have been a high-option vehicle back then. Look at the graphics. Just love it. Love these graphics on the card art. Even though, again, they're not getting the box, but you know, it seems almost like a lot of packaging. So I almost sort of agree with the fact that they're reducing some of the packaging in these cars. You still can put them back in. If you take a blade and just use that, it'll stay together. And cars won't fall out. If you store them like that and then put the other one on top like this, kind of have it in a box if you store your vehicles and don't have a shelf for them. I would recommend storing them like that. So, this is a sweet car. The only thing about this one when I was looking at it was the fact that the tires are hitting the fenders a little bit. So, it does have some rubbing on it just because the tires are a little bit bigger than the one that I had before. And I'll get my old one out that I've had for a minute. But typically, no fidelity is lost in the casting, and it still looks just as good as the first runs. You can see GTA on the bottom stripe there. The 67 side gills, the fastback roof line, just a great car. Again, that really deep back deck. You can see how deep it goes. It's got the quad tip exhaust, so really it's got the same chassis as the other previous releases. Now, even though they're saying it's an automatic, it looks like it's a standard transmission pan, but you know, it's all right. Could be an auto, but it looks like a top loader Ford or T10, one of those Ford stick shift transmissions. Mustang was a unit construction car, so it had a subframe and then basically a unit construction. But it definitely got a little bit more aggressive looking than the 65 to 66 car did. Got the GT grille on the front there. Got the hood extractor vents there. And there's your Ford motor. It's got the blue air cleaner and some other details in there. I mean, they really just do a lot of detail, even though this car is tiny. I mean, they'll go and spend the time and paint the overflow bottle, the washer bottle, and the strut tower bolt is silver. Silver air cleaner with the blue base. I mean, the whole thing. Just awesome. And of course, those wheels. Look at these wheels. And the tampoing. Alright, let's take a little bit of a zoom here. We don't have to spend too much time on this car. I just want to get the highlights of it. You can see GTA is picked out there. Silver rocker trim. And those wheels are just awesome. Look at that. Full wheel covers that Ford had back then. Quarter window. Of course, you got Mustang spelled out in the back. And the 67 GT. A license plate, and you got GT on the filler cap in the back. Got the reverse lights. The whole car is done just beautifully. Of course, the lime poly is gorgeous. And when you compare it to the other Mustang I have, another green one, of course, another GT car, it's got the little torque thrust wheels on it. And this one, this gauge tire is really the one that looks more appropriate on this car in terms of size. These look good, but they're a little large. And this one rolls much nicer. So, but this one is really going to be displayed in my Mustang area, so they'll go good together. A lot of green cars are piling up around here, but I love it. And it's always good having some pony cars. So, very excited to have this one and add it to the collection, even though, you know, the main reason I got the set was obviously get the trucks, but you know, these are great bonuses, and there probably would have been cars I would have picked up if I saw them anyway, just because they look so good. So, all right, so 67 Mustang GTA, good looking vehicle, very, very good looking. All right, next, number 3. This is a really cool car. This car came out a while ago. I think it was 13, 14, 15, sometime like that. As a casting, and when they were doing that Car and Driver series where they had them in those clamshells, kind of like Greenlight, this car came out and I missed it. It was a stock version, a little bit less without the rally or the you know, those type of wheels that I'm seeing right there, those rallies. They had the wheel cover one, with the vinyl roof, and I missed out. It was kind of a cool casting. It was sort of like this, so I don't have that one, but now I got this one similar, and so it's blue with the white top. I love that color scheme. It also has the matching blue interior, and 1971 Dodge Dart Swinger, and you could see in 71 it went to the 4 tail lamps instead of the single, and the Swinger name was used for 2-door custom cars. And this is light blue poly. Well, it's a little bit darker in this. Again, we looked at that Moulin Rouge, that pinkish purple car that I've already had in earlier videos that I picked up, and I think that was a 2015 release that was showing up. But this Dart Swinger is sweet. A lot of these had the small blocks in them for the most part, like the 340s, things like that, 318s. But they were still pretty quick because this car was relatively light, and you know, again, before the feds were getting real heavy on the crash standards, they had tucked in bumpers. It was still going off that more of a fuselage shape, as Chrysler was calling it, and so everything was nicely tucked. The bumpers were tucked into the body very nicely, so it was still a great looking car, and this one's no different. You can see Dart Swingers up there on the side with the Chrysler Pentastar. Love that. A little thick on the paint, but not bad. Quarter windows are done perfectly, and then you got your bent seat interior that's blue, and they have that Chrysler, big 3-spoke Chrysler wheel in there. Look at that thing. You can barely see it. Dart Swinger's just done really good. Love that. See what it says right there. Blue sky. That's funny. So this is a cool casting. Very, very cool. Not so much depth in this one. It's more like a green light in there, but not bad. Just gotta love the chassis on these again. You can see the torsion bar suspension on these cars with that K-frame. And leaf springs in the back. Very, very cool. Spare tire well, gas tank, dual exhaust. Another standard transmission it looks like, but it could be an auto, can't really tell. It's kind of funky. So, you know, and then we've got the Mopar rallies. The gas cap. Let's see what that says right there. I could barely read that. Dodge. Awesome. There's your taillights. You can see how deep they are. It's all casting. No plastic. Just sweet car. Alright. There's our Dart. Next, we are going to look at the Eau de Resistance. So, this is a modified casting, even though they're saying it's a new one, because really it's basically the same vehicle. I didn't see any difference except for they cast the grille. But they got to make a big change to it just because the whole thing, they can't swap grille out like green light. They have to actually recast the cab. So there you go. Great two-tone livery. This is 1975, and you can see how the grille has changed. Right there, it goes from 32 to 70. Or yeah, flush 32 to 70. So yeah, more slots than the older one. Just trying to keep up with the times, and they freshen these vehicles every few years. I did take this out and reverse the tire. I'll put it back real quick. Alright, so let's take a look at this truck. Reverse this tire to get it back to stock condition. I haven't altered this vehicle yet, but I will. And there's just some pinch points on these vehicles that I like to address when I put them in my collection. But it's a great livery. The other one, of course, is black. And I actually found one hanging on the pegs, and I'll show you that in a minute. Of course, it's a little bit special, and I'll show you why. A little thin right there, right? You could see that really it would address the problem by putting some spacers there. And I've done that on my other trucks, namely this one. I put some plastic rod in there and I make shims because they have this thinner than in the back, and the back is spaced correctly, but not the front. So as you can see, it's a little bit too much. It goes into the fender, so that'll get addressed. Of course, also the white walls are very, very crooked. You can see that there, and also the black on that center cap is really off base, but I can clean that up with a little brake fluid just around the edge there, just so it looks a little bit more centered. Other than that, the truck is good. Take a look now. This went to the Silverado trim right there. As you can see, it's a 10. This is really like a four-wheel drive, of course, so K10. Look at the back deck. So they had the color of the truck come through the tailgate, so it has red as Chevrolet. And you got the trim right there. The other thing I noticed about this truck that was funny was the upkick on this is really supposed to be level. You can see on my blue one, it's a little bit more straight. You can see how much that comes up at an angle. I thought that was a little odd. And they do have a plastic bumper. Let me flip this around real quick. This white wall is a little bit straighter, but not much. They got the trim line though on the back. So just like what we've seen before, same interior as the 73 trucks. Bucket seats with the console. So this is a fairly loaded vehicle for the time. And there's your difference in your grille. And I'll pull this blue one over here so you can see the difference. So that's what they're calling, quote unquote, a new casting. Of course, we all know that's just a modified. I don't know why. I mean, they might have made a whole new casting just for this, so they have this one to go back to, because I think in the old days they would just destroy the tool and make it a revision to it, and then you couldn't go back to making these again. But that might be the case. You know, they might not do a 73 anymore. Who knows? You Auto World people can chime in on that. Deep bed. Of course, we got an operating tailgate. Opening hood. Basically the same engine as the casting we've already seen. It's really the same stuff in there. So just a nice looking truck. I just love the colors. You know, when I tune up the wheels, fix the axles, make them so they're not so crooked, and then I'll probably flip this around so it's not a white wall truck. I'll probably be a little bit more pleased with it, but definitely like it. And the red looks very red in my camera, but it's kind of an orangish red, so it's a very 70s red, so I'm very excited to have it. And in my growing square body collection that's been growing by leaps and bounds for 2019. So very excited to have this truck. Of course, it has those beautiful wheels. Now I will share with you all a special addition to my collection that will not be coming out of the card. And I actually found on the pegs, I almost fell over. So I'd never ever found an ultra red yet in the wild, and obviously I'm not going to pay $50, $60, $70, whatever the guys are trying to charge for these things. I found an ultra red series. What was this? The series version B. I mean, ultra red. So I'll share that all with you. My good fortune, I found this on the pegs, just hanging there. So I was there at the right time. And of course, like all ultra reds, they kind of paint the base white. It's just awesome. I mean, I couldn't believe it. Of course, now I got to try to find the black one. It's going to be difficult. The other thing that I'm really excited to do is get these rallies. So hopefully I can find some more, because those rallies are sweet. They look a lot better than the green light rallies that we've seen. So this ultra red is awesome. Definitely going to be in the collection forever. Not for sale, not for trade. Unless someone has like 20 square bodies to give me for this, jokingly. But yeah, that's how it comes. And just so you know, on the back, same vehicles, just different color. So that's what an ultra red looks like. And it seems like they make an ultra red for each of the castings. So you could find an ultra red with this background, or you can find an ultra red with this truck. So, and of course all the other castings too. So very excited to have this. Unfortunately, I can't play with this one. This one has to stay locked in its plastic cage, but there you go. So I think the Ultra Reds are 1 of 200 or something like that, and the Ultra Raws are like 1 of 10. So very excited to have that vehicle, and to find it in the wild is very special because I really don't collect Ultra Reds. But obviously, if I see an Auto World Ultra Red, no matter what it is, I'm going to pick it up. So very excited to have that one and share it all with you, and also have it as a square body. So triple threat, right? So I got the square body, my favorite casting. It was an Ultra Red, and I found it in the wild. So how could you go wrong? I mean, really. All right, so there's my little 75 K10 truck. Very, very nice. We went in detail on the square bodies in other videos. I just wanted to show you the updated coloring and all that. All right, brand new casting for 2019. Brand new. More new than any of these is the F-150. And this thing is enormous and very heavy. And they also talk about how heavy it is, actually, in the card. I mean, let me just get this to zoom real quick. 3.4 ounces. So it does feel very heavy in the hand. It's all metal. And it's brand new. So this thing is sweet. This is the blue one. And I actually, when I found that Ultra Red Chevrolet, I also found the gray F-150, which I kind of prefer than this blue. A lot of guys like the blue and gals like the blue, but I like the gray one. But this one's good because I'll probably get these F-150s as they come out, just because they're great casting. And I hate to say it, but they're a lot better than Greenlight's extended cab F-150, which I actually have. Just take a look at my modified Indiana DNR truck, just as a comparison. Now, in the Greenlight truck, no opening hood, no opening tailgate, but it does have the lensed headlights, whereas this is painted. But I mean, the body and the casting on this is just amazing, and it's basically the same size, but this thing, the wheels and tires, I mean, it's just it's awesome. This thing is sweet. It's got they even did the mirrors, which is interesting because they really don't do mirrors on their cars, but they did it on this one. Metal running board, painted. So they paint the base black, which is interesting too. They don't leave it raw. Opening hood, and this one looks like it has the EcoBoost engine in it. We'll take a look here real quick. And I'll get my gray one out too. It's over here next to me. But they paint the radiator and overfill tank, and let's see if we can get this to go. Yeah, so kind of buried in there is the motor, as you can see. The tires are awesome. As you can see there, maybe a little bit thin from real life, but the sidewall, the height is very good, and it rolls amazingly. It's got the FX4 detail in the back. Now, this is a 2018 truck, so pretty much the current body style. It's got the bucket seats with the center console and the floor shift, or the console shifter. It's got Ford and F-150 imprinted in the tailgate. That's actually, I think, when I was looking, yeah, it's a metal bumper, even though it looks separate. This bumper's metal. It's part of the chassis, but they paint it. I mean, it looks like it's a plastic piece like the Silverado, but it's not. Ultra clear windows, unlike Greenlight, where they sometimes can be fogged up or have handprints on them. And we can see that the F-150 is done very nicely. Now, the only thing with this one, which is odd, was this paint was kind of thick, and you can see how much thick paint was an issue on the back by that tail light. It's not the best, but I'll show you the gray one in a minute. Very, very cool truck. So, I've driven many of these trucks. They're cool. They drive very good. Very comfortable and very big. This is the short bed version, as you can see, the shortest bed that they make. This is all metal, even though they paint that flat black. Let's take this down. Very stiff tailgate. You can see right there. So that's all metal. just an amazing truck. Kudos to Auto World for doing this thing. Hopefully they'll do some special editions of this, maybe make a dealer special or something with Ford. You can see how nicely the wheels are done. Look at that. And they roll very straight too. So, excited to have this one. And real quick, let's take a look at the gray. I think the gray is really nice. And the paint on this, since it's a little bit more heavy metallic, lays very smoothly. So you can see the cab light there. FX4 is done just so nicely. Look at that Tampa work. Let's take a look. Look at that. Amazing. There's the wheels. F-150 Lariat package, which be pretty loaded. Pretty loaded trim. And the other thing that looks a little bit easier to see on this one is the grille obviously is all part of the molding, all part of the casting. Look at that fidelity on the grille. Even though you lose a little bit because the headlights are just painted silver, all the details there, all the lines are there, all the panels are there. It's just tremendous job. Kudos to Auto World. A little bit of a big gap right there on the hood, but not bad. Remember, this is 1/64 scale, so I would say they did a tremendous job. Look at that fidelity on the wheels. Plastic, of course. You can see how nicely it rolls. It's got the proper ride height, too. There's the chassis if you want to look at that a little bit better. It's like a satin black. Spare tire. So there she is, guys and gals. Auto World, I think the last set for 2019, I believe, until the next one comes out. They are going to be doing a Silverado, so I'm really excited about that. A late model Silverado. I think it's going to be a 2018, so that's going to be cool. But yeah, so there's the set. I highly recommend this one. This is a good one. I love this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. I think I love them all. Definitely very pleased with it. And like all these type of Auto World things, I mean, get them while they're available because they just keep going up in value and they keep getting more and more expensive as more and more people start getting into these things. So they're great. Highly recommend them. Hope you enjoyed it. We got Greenlight Estate Wagon Series 4 coming up next video. And that should be in a few days. So stay tuned. Thank you all for subscribing, watching. All your wonderful comments. I really appreciate it. You guys and gals have been very nice. And hope you enjoy the content. And the holidays are coming up, so everybody have a great holiday. Till next time.